Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Barris here on a Thursday, and we've got a good show on tap for you. We're going to talk about something. I forget what it is that's happening on Monday, okay? And yeah, don't say, oh, Nick, no, not more Eclipse stuff. Yes, more Eclipse stuff. But, I mean, we're going to cover some ground, maybe some things you haven't thought about. Maybe now giving you an opportunity to ask some question, and no questions are silly, about the eclipse and how to deal with it, what you might expect, all of those types of things. Now, we're going to put the number up on the screen here so you can call us, of course, as always, on the plus and give us a call. But we also, as a service, are streaming this live on Facebook at newschannel5.com, and I'll be monitoring any questions you may have right here. And so you can, if you'd like, message us, and I'll try to answer the question for you. Actually, I won't. I will pass the question on to the expert with us this morning on the show, and that's Derrick Rhol. Good morning to you.
Hi there. Good morning.
It's good to have you on, and it's Rhol, not Rule, it's Rhol,
yes.
Right? And you are with the Adventure Science Center, and this is a big deal for you guys, isn't it?
This is a huge deal for us. You know, a total solar eclipse hasn't happened in Nashville since 1478, so we've been looking forward to this for just a few years.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, how long has this been on your radar, honestly, that you guys were thinking, okay, it's coming, it's going to be here in 2017? Really, like, several years back? I mean, I
moved here a couple of years ago, and it was on my radar then.
Okay.
But for the Science Center, it's been over 5 years in the making.
Oh, that's just awesome. Okay, now the thing about it, one thing I want to throw this out, and I had posted some on my Facebook page, and some people said, because I talked about how I knew people that had blind spots in their eyes from having looked at the sun without protection. That was back in the 70s when I was growing up in Illinois. And I had people say, well, what, you know someone who's 99 years old? And the truth is it not that every year somewhere on the planet there are solar eclipses, what, 2 a year at least?
It depends. Yeah, there are a couple of times a year that it
I mean,
could
if you want to travel to it.
If you want to travel, they happen more often actually than a lunar eclipse even.
Okay, so just so you know, it's a very rare event because it's happening here. The next one here is going to be down the line, Lelan was saying. I mean, it's
2566.
Okay, so it is a historic event for those of us along this stretch. And so, anyway, there's so much to cover on this ground. As I said, again, now I'm looking to make sure, and we've got followers right now who can send us comments or questions if they'd like on Facebook. And I'll just turn this down so we have no audio. Good. If you have questions, Facebook us as well at newschannel5.com, and you can call in. All right, let's hit a couple of things real quick that I know people have concerns and questions about. These are a hot commodity, are they not?
These are a very hot commodity.
These are the ones News Channel 5 was giving out. Load and Vision was the sponsor of these, and as far as we know to this point, these are safe and good. The ones you've given out, the problem is other places, including Metro Health, not their fault, I suppose, but they had to recall some glasses.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of sort of just tent industries have shown up just overnight, just in time for the eclipse,
to make money,
to sell, just to make money. And it's really sad because these are, these are a great memento, but these are also a great safety item. It's so, so cheap, comparatively. $2, you can look up at the sun, and you're good to go. So that people are cheaping out and scamming people on these is really pretty tragic for us.
So what do you say to people, again now, I know there was a serial number they were talking about that you want to look on to make sure it has that right number, but if someone now doesn't have one of these yet and is seeking to get them and gets hold of them, I don't know if they get them online or if they get them from some establishment giving them out, how can they be sure, and is that even possible with all the counterfeits popping up, that what they have is safe?
Yeah, it's really tough to tell when you're looking online. It can be a little bit of a challenge to figure out what to look for. NASA recommends 4 different companies. There's Rainbow Symphony, there's American Paper Optics, there's Thousand Oaks, and there's TSE 17, Total Solar Eclipse 17. Okay. One thing I'll note is when you look for that manufacturer, so both of these, for instance, are actually made by American Paper Optics. That's who we chose to work with at the Science Center as well. Yep. And on the back of it, you can see it says American Paper Optics in real small print.
Yep.
But I also like to look for the Eclipser logo, because anything from American Paper Optics is going to have that logo right above the bridge of the nose inside. So if you see American Paper Optics, you see that, then you're extra sure.
Now that's not to say slime bags out there that want to counterfeit these couldn't do so, correct? To just use that logo.
Absolutely, and that's that's a challenge.
And that happens with anything. But what we're talking about here is the safety of your eyes. And the other thing they were saying, and I guess to look for, and I don't know if this alone still works, if it says ISO 12312-2. That's another number. Is that still something to look for?
Yeah, you can look for that. You can also look for the CE logo, which we've got on just behind the right ear on these glasses as well.
Okay.
So it's a mix of things that you can check for. Unfortunately, just like counterfeit currency, when you got to sort of outchase all the crooks making up some different different counterfeits here.
Gotcha.
Every time we tell you what to look for, they'll just start to copy that. The good news is we're getting so close to the eclipse, it's going to be hard for them to turn around any more fakes.
Exactly. So the time's getting short. Well, I think these, in general, are ones, if you look at the precautions you said, something maybe you can trust. But the beauty of it is there are so many other ways to watch the eclipse. And certainly TV. We're going to have coverage, all day with primary, beginning to end coverage from 1 to 2 o'clock on Monday. And you'll be able to see it. We're going to shoot video of it. We're going to have a telescopic shot of it. Okay. You said there's some other neat ways with shadows and things like this that you can do as well.
Definitely, yeah. And I'll rattle off a few of those here. So we've got, you may have heard of pinhole projection, where you punch a hole in a piece of cardboard. Key thing here, do not look through that hole. Cardboard does not keep you safe from the sun. But poke a hole and then look at the shadow of that cardboard on the ground, and you'll see the shadow of a rectangle. And then in the middle, rather than that hole that you poked, you'll see a crescent sun projected right in the middle of that shadow. So that's a great way to look at it. If you're near a tree or a bush, look just beneath the tree or bush, and then you can actually see hundreds of crescent suns beneath on the ground, just beneath that tree or bush there.
Okay, so you're basically watching a shadow then in that situation then, right?
Yeah, it's sort of a tiny projection of what the sun would look like without having to look toward the sun.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, okay, so there's so many ways to deal with that. I've already said I'm probably myself, I'm going to be on Sky 5, but I may use these, and I trust these to be safe. I'm not going to look up. I'll look everywhere else. The problem is, okay, we all want to see it. But what if it rains and it's overcast? Well, we know who we'll blame for that, and that would be one Lelan Statom, who's joining us. We dragged him over here, and thanks for coming over. I know you're busy,
You're
and we wanted to frame you up, but we got you all set here. So, all right. Everyone asks you this constantly. You've been talking about it all morning. Now, it is pretty much, an issue here whether or not we have good weather. If it's heavy cloud cover and it's raining, I guess it'll still get darker than usual, but you're not going to be able to see anything, right?
You won't see the actual sun. It'll get dark, and she'll go through that process of getting darker, everything. We kind of think of cloud cover at dusk or something like that.
Right.
You just won't be able to see the effects of the eclipse around the sun.
So, what are you thinking right now?
Right now, the early read is partly cloudy for that day, and temperatures up around the 90-degree mark.
Okay.
Now, there should be some breaks in the clouds. Lower the humidity levels, while will be up there, they don't look like it's the type that will give us the broken cloud cover. Maybe more of a partly cloudy sky.
Okay.
So there will be times where the clouds will kind of come in and out. And remember, it's a 3-hour event. Totality is a shorter period, but the entire deal is nearly 3 hours, so clouds will kind of come in and out during that process, but partly cloudy for us right now with we'll go with a 10 to 20% rain and thunderstorm chance.
10 to 20%. The time, again, when does it really start? It's
11:58, right, is the actual time.
11:58 with the totality, at least in this area.
Totality is going to be from 127 to 129, so almost
just 2 minutes. 2 minutes long there, and then it will go again on the other side until about
2:54. 2:54, yeah, so nearly 3 hours for everything.
So during that time, your point is, hopefully, if it's catch as catch can, there's going to be periods where it will be clear.
Yeah,
and
others periods where it should be clear, but we definitely want it to be at least where the sun is at, to be nice and at least broken clouds away from the sun and the moon at that peak time period there for us out there. So
okay. So are you going to be watching?
I am going to watch it. This is, and I don't know how much y'all fit on this just yet. It really is, for a lot of folks, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event.
Here it is.
I have seen a couple of partial eclipse, but I've never seen a full total eclipse. And so I am looking forward to that. There will be another close by a total eclipse coming up in 2024, but for any point in time, like Nashville, The next one is what, 549 years from yesterday.
2566. Yeah, can you believe it?
So it really is a once in a lifetime event as far as this exact location is concerned. So yes, I plan to watch it. I have got my NASA approved glasses.
Okay, yeah, we were just talking about making sure there's so many counterfeits and bogus ones out there. There were some recalls, and so I just want to make, because that's the most serious thing for me as we deal with this. I mean, an eclipse typically should not cause problems for anyone. Really, it's a neat thing, but it can seriously mess up your eyes. Like I said, I've known people. I've seen eclipses, as a child, and I had friends who burned crescent-shaped scars at the back of their eyeball, and there's a permanent blind spot the rest of their lives. Do not mess with it. I've had some people on my Facebook page, I don't care what they say, I'm going to look at it. Have at it, buddy, and we'll get you your seeing eye dog. Not smart. Now, what I really worry about, if adults are dumb enough to look with the naked eye, you know what? It's called natural selection. But if the children are the ones that I worry about.
Exactly, yeah.
And they don't know. And don't they also say now, when it is at its totality, typically during that 2 minutes, that is a moment that you could look at it with the naked eye. Shouldn't be much brighter than, say, a moon, a full moon.
About the full moon, yeah.
Okay, but the trick on that, and that's why I wouldn't tell that to a small child, is how do you know the moment that really starts and when to look away? Don't tempt fate.
But anyone who has seen an eclipse will say, you'll know when it's totality. I mean, it is really, really a stark difference. So that's the good news.
I'm just saying with the child, if they just keep with it as it starts coming back out.
And that's why a host of schools have wanted to be out that day. Some wanted to be out so that the families could be together. But in some cases, some of the schools were worried about a legal issue. Liability and everything. And so that's the reason that they're out, so that it more or less falls in the hands of mom and dad and not necessarily the school system. Now, I know metro schools is actually, I was helping my wife sort them, and she was looking, she said, all right, these are the glasses we're giving out tomorrow. Are they NASA approved? And so they were, but they're giving them all out, but it's just easier if it's a smaller group than having to deal with a whole class and making sure that everybody is following the exact same directions.
Yeah, well, that's good, because the nice thing about it is if they can pull it off, is it is a great teaching moment.
Yeah, so
and
definitely.
I think as it stands, so I saw late yesterday, Rutherford County decided to let the schools out. Metro,
Metro's out.
Okay.
Metro's out.
Wilson County, as far as I know, is in.
Yeah, I believe Wilson County is in.
My son goes to school there. He's going to go to school on Monday unless they do a last-second change. So I guess different philosophies for different schools, but it's a great teaching moment to get out there with them. But you're right. Liability is a big issue on all this. Liability on is if you're giving these suckers out, and you give out the wrong ones, you're going to hear from a lawyer probably if someone suffers some eye damage. So
and just when you're out, it's when you're looking at the sun, because if you're just out and about on a normal day, you don't need to necessarily wear those on. But if you're looking at the sun to see the eclipse and to see the full effect of it, make sure that you've got those on. I've got some folks, and we talk about totality, there's a 70-mile window there. So you've got quite a few folks in the News Channel 5 viewing area who are outside of that window. If you're outside of that window, anytime you're watching the eclipse, the glasses need to be on. You never get a chance to take them off.
That's right. You have to be under the totality. Great point. And we're going to show you some maps and get into some of the other aspects of this and take a lot of your phone calls, a lot of comments coming in. Leland, thanks for coming over.
You're welcome very much. Good to see you.
Yeah, you
Just
too.
Work on that weather for us.
We're doing our best. I'm doing anti-rain dances right now.
Right. No, the other way. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll take more of your phone calls, or we'll start your phone calls and get some of your comments, because we're also streaming this right now on Facebook at newschannel5.com. Back right after this.